What is going on, world? What's up, everyone? It's Zero here. Today I'm bringing you guys a brand new Starcraft 2 video. This one was played at WCS Leipzig and was the grand finals of that tournament. Spawning here in the bottom right hand corner of Catalyst LE, playing with the blue Protoss pieces. He got on the board and wants to keep this series rolling and tie this series up right here and right now. His name is none other than ShoWTimE. And his opponent, spawning in the top left-hand corner of the map, playing with the red Zerg pieces. He's currently known as the best player on the planet. His name is Serral. So, guys and girls, game number 3 was absolutely awesome play by ShoWTimE. I felt that he definitely deserved game number 3, and it was a lot of fun watching what he did. Now, my question is how does Serral respond to this? As I said, you know, this is the WCS, this game and series in particular was played at the WCS in Leipzig, was the grand finals of that tournament. And, you know, Serral, being, you know, the incredible StarCraft 2 player that he is, it should be, I'm interested to see exactly what he decides to do in this game against ShoWTimE, who, you know, ShoWTimE, he has shown us that he can play with any of the best in the world. I mean, and that is without question. ShoWTimE is an absolute force to be reckoned with the Protoss pieces. I believe that his Phoenix play, when he gets those mass Phoenixes, it's incredible. Like, some of the best Phoenix play I've ever seen in StarCraft 2, and we're talking, you know, going back all the way to, you know, Wings of Liberty, Heart of the Swarm. This guy is incredible with the Phoenixes. But, I mean, all that being said and done, you know, I hope I've hyped up this matchup enough for all of you, because we're about to jump into exactly what both of our players are doing at this early stages, or stage of the game. Serral here, guys, it does seem like he's going to go for a very standard hatch gas pool, which is pretty much exactly what he does almost every game. It's very, you know, it's relatively rare to see him go for something a little bit uncharacteristic or out of the ordinary. He kind of just generally goes for very similar builds. He goes for very good timing pushes, and he's very good on defense, so that's definitely something to keep in mind. ShoWTimE also goes for very similar, you know, standard builds, but he just changes up the unit compositions, which I love a lot. He's going for that Cybernetics core into the, I'm sorry, Gateway into the Cybernetics core, and then of course in the natural Nexus, he is going to go ahead and get that Warp Gate researched as well. We can see from Serral getting the Zergling speed upgrade researched right now as well. We do see that there is a quick third hatchery, so Serral deciding to go for the, you know, the booming economy over the aggressive, or over going aggressive, is definitely, generally speaking, what you'll see from Serral, unless he sees a build that he is not really liking, to say the least. So, it does look like, at this point in the game, we're setting ourselves up for a standard macro-focused game, and I love it. I really do. We're going to see the Evolution Chamber coming in now for Serral. And look, he's probably going to go for those, you know, those +1 upgrades, ground-based units. Now here, oh, now I am liking this a lot. 2 Dropper Lords. And it looks like ShoWTimE's going to see this immediately. Beautiful play by ShoWTimE. ShoWTimE was absolutely on top of this, but at the same time, a lot of Zerglings are going to be coming in, and those Zerglings are going to try to do as much damage as possible. Now, I'm not sure. It looks like Serral doesn't know exactly what he wants to do. He looks like he's going to try to hit at multiple angles at once, but I don't know if I really like the decision-making here by Serral. It looks like Serral is going to try to run in and get as many kills as possible on a bunch of these probes. But all that said and done, this push is not working at all. ShoWTimE sniffed it out, saw exactly what was going on, and it does look like he is going to go right after that Cybernetics core, is going to get at least the Cybernetics core, and now the Gateway is going to be going down as well. And you know, all that being said and done, though, when you really look at this, not a ton of damage was really dealt. ShoWTimE was absolutely on top of that. That's actually the second time in this series that Serral has tried to drop some banelings or drop some zerglings into the main base location. And Serral, or I should say ShoWTimE, is just a little bit too good for that. He is just, a little bit too smart. He really knows how to keep his units in the correct spaces. And it does look like now we are going to see these, a couple of these oracles are just going to start cleaning up house, getting a lot of kills. Beautiful play there by ShoWTimE. That said, though, there are some zerglings that are still kind of waiting to try to get into that main, or I should say the natural base location. Charge is being researched. We're going to also see the Templar archives coming in as well for our Protoss player. But all that said and done, I mean, we're still kind of setting ourselves up for a macro-focused game that ShoWTimE, once again, this is kind of ShoWTimE's game to lose. I mean, he is ahead, and when you're looking at this, Serral, not that Serral is out of this game by any stretch of the imagination. I mean, we're only passing the 6-minute mark, but ShoWTimE, you're starting to see a little bit of some momentum shifting, and it's something that's really interesting to watch between both of these players. You'll start to, it's all about momentum. I believe in StarCraft 2, in many instances, you'll see that one player does really well a couple of games, and then you'll see another player gets, one game under their belt, and then they just start rolling. They start absolutely playing on a completely new and high elevated level. Now, we do see some units that are starting to move out for ShoWTimE, and I like this decision a lot. He's going to start moving out towards Serral's neck of the woods, and he's got a decent amount of units here. The question is will there be an overextension? Because there's a lot of queens out right now. With some transfuses, this could spell some disaster for our Protoss player, who's getting absolutely surrounded by all of these units. But somehow, some way, it does seem that just barely Serral's going to be able to hold on. But just like that, there was a decent amount of damage that was dealt. It does look like Serral's planning on going for a push across the map here, and I love this. I love what Serral is doing. Serral's going to go ahead and counter-attack across the map with a bunch of zerglings, but he's going to try to bait his opponent into figuring out what is going on. So he's sending units into that third base location. He's got a dropper lord that's going to drop the queens most likely somewhere else. And it does look like these zerglings are going to start to move in. And just as all this is going down, it does look like that dropper lord is going to try to drop these queens right on top of where these oracles are. And just like that, he's going to go right after the third base location. And this is exactly what Serral wants at this point in the game. Beautiful play here by Serral, playing absolutely textbook Zerg play. And this is how you play after a push across the map that somewhat went your way. He is playing this absolutely brilliantly right now. It looks like right now Serral may very well just try to finish this game right here and right now. He is going to start pushing in across the map. Got a lot of Zerglings that are, taking a lot of damage, though, by this Immortal. And it does look like somehow our Protoss player is able to hold on. And once again, I think that this engagement actually went in favor overall of ShoWTimE. Unless Serral, if he gets this base, that'll be a massive pickup. It looks like he's going to get it. He does. And now I would have to say that Serral has taken a little bit of a lead. For sure. I mean, if he wouldn't have gotten this base, though, I think ShoWTimE would actually be in still in the lead. Not that that was a bad, engagement or anything along those lines. It just kind of felt like, I don't know, ShoWTimE, really held on very well there against all of those queens, so on and so forth. Looks like the lair is being morphed in at this point. We are going to see Storm being researched. We're going to see those, all these all of these upgrades are going to be coming in now for for both of these players. Glial Reconstitution's being researched for the Roaches. We're also going to see the +1 upgrades coming out of course, the Evolution Chamber. So as we pass that 10-minute mark, both of these players seem to be playing, it looks like they're, as there's a little lull in the game, they're both trying to give each other that respect that they both rightfully deserve. Missile attacks level 1 is going to be finishing up right now. And, it's kind of interesting. Who's really in the lead here? Who really is? It's very interesting to me. When it comes to these types of engagements, who's really taking the leads in these games? Who is really in the lead? Because so much, at least at this point, up to this point in this series, it's been so back and forth. And both these players have very similar, very similar in supply. I would say it's pretty much dead even, to be honest. I really do. I feel like it's pretty even on both sides of the map. I've got to say, now with this 4th Nexus going down, that's something that we're going to have to keep an eye on. It does look like these Zerglings are going to probably try and see if the base is down, though. There are going to be a couple of photon cannons that are going to be here, and now that Serral knows, does look like a lot of those Zerglings are going to be, or all of them, are going to be taken out with ease. So, I mean, like I said, guys, as these upgrades are coming in, those +2 upgrades are going to be coming in for both of these players. We are going to see the Lurker Den once again out of Serral, and I like the decision making, to get the Lurkers, especially because you're dealing with a ground-based unit composition. The question I have, though, is, ShoWTimE. My thinking is, why isn't ShoWTimE moving across the map? When he lost this 3rd Nexus, I really feel like he should have been moving out across the map. It's something that you really got to do, in my opinion. When you lose your base like that, you really should start moving across the map and trying to do at least a little bit of damage, maybe even just, kind of make your presence known and try to keep that, Zerg player or whoever you're playing against, kind of on their side of the map, so you have time to kind of get, get that base up and running again and have a booming economy once again. Now, I mean, ShoWTimE may very well, obviously he knows much better than myself, but it looks like what he's planning on doing is just massing, a bigger and bigger army as we go. We're passing that 13-minute mark, and it does look, to me at least, it seems that he wants to just mass a nice ground-based force and just overwhelm his opponent. But this is allowing the Zerg player to dictate the pace of the game. Some of these photon cannons are starting to go down, and just like that, we are going to start seeing some of these Zerg-based units that are starting to move across the map. So you got to be very careful about how you engage this, because it does look like from a couple of different angles, our Protoss player is going to try to surround this army. Beautiful storms right on top of all those units. A big warping is also going to be coming over at the 3rd base location, pushing this army back, and that engagement 1000% went in favor of ShoWTimE. So now here we go. ShoWTimE is going to start moving across the map, and I think that this is exactly what he was waiting for, and this is exactly what he should be doing, is moving across the map and putting a lot of pressure on the Zerg player. If you want to tie up this series 2-2, you have got to do what you can and do it as quickly as possible. Start pushing across the map. Start doing as much damage as possible. I think at this point, ShoWTimE has got a big enough army that he can really do crippling amounts of damage to the Zerg player. You gotta be careful though. You don't want the surround to come in. There's gonna be some big time storms are gonna be coming in. Beautiful storms so far. The storms once again. The Immortals are doing so much damage to a lot of these units. of the Zerk, and he is coming in, and GG is called, and ShoWTimE evens up the score against the best player on the planet. I hope you guys did enjoy this game between Serral and ShoWTimE, and if you guys did, leave a thumbs up, subscribe for new, stay positive, and as always, I'll see you guys all in the next one. Peace.